will understand a nitrogen metabolism. Up to this, we have completed carbon metabolism. In this lecture, we will understand how the nitrogen is synthesized. So, nitrogen cycle is important for this topic. There are greater concern with the human beings or all living beings how the nitrogen is synthesized, how atmosphere is formed, and what is their roles, how the crop, if continuously crop is grown by every country peoples or farmers, whether they causes the pollutants in the soils or outer environment, it may affect on our health too. So how this can be happen and how it will reduce, that we will understand. In this carbon and nitrogen metabolism is very much important for farmers as well as we people too. As a biochemist, you should know what is the role of nitrogen. Without nitrogen, you cannot form amino acid. Without nitrogen, you cannot form a protein. Without nitrogen, you cannot respire or use of that efficiency into a various ways. So generally, in the last 60, 70 years, you will find a number of nitrogenous fertilizers and fertilizer companies are day by day increasing, but it causes a certain depletion in the fertility of the plant or fertility of the soil, and it causes a pollutant. So last few years, there is a great concern about the nitrate pollution. Remember these words, nitrate pollution, because of the reason behind is excessive use of nitrogen fertilizer. As you know that there are different types of plant species, cereal, soil seed, pulses. Generally, we know that leguminous plants have a higher ability of nitrogen utilization because they have in the leg hemoglobin at root nodules and they have ability to synthesize or absorb the nitrogen from the atmosphere. But these all plants are not leguminous plants or all having a, not that systems, root nodules type. So that has to be synthesized or optimized. Which crop requires how much? That already been studied by many scientists and in agronomy. They are giving you a knowledge about good agriculture practices. How much quantity you are putting into a soil and how much quantity nitrogen is utilized by. And soil scientists is also work for that also. But plants differ from each other with respect to their nitrogen use efficiency. Now another keywords you have to remember. As I said, nitrate pollution. Now another word, nitrogen use efficiency. So to understand these about nitrogen use efficiency, that will leads to a proper utilization of fertilizers, which in turn ultimately it reduces the nitrate pollution and reduce the cost of cultivation for the farmers. Therefore, this course is very important to understand every agriculture issue. Now the word, as I said, nitrate pollution, it means what? Nitrate assimilation. So nitrate assimilation pathways is very complex and regulated various processes. So as in biochemistry, without any reaction, it requires enzymes, any biochemical reaction. So the enzyme of these processes are regulated by various endogenous, endo and exo. Endo means internal, exo means outer. So endogenous and exogenous factors like nitrate, remember these words, nitrate, ammonia, light and hormones. What I am speaking, I'm speaking about a nitrogen use efficiency. What are the factors for utilization of various species? That depends upon various exogenous and endogenous factors that include nitrate, ammonia, light, and hormones. So, null, null means this nitrate, ammonia, light, and hormones. Now, nitrate and light are the major signals for this pathway. Which pathway? Nitrates assimilation pathways is a complex and regulatory process, and the major signal for these pathways is two. One is nitrate, another is light. Remember these two factors. Now I am giving you another factors. Ammonia. Ammonia is also assimilated and reassimilated by another set of enzymes that regulation, as I said in this course, regulation of carbon and nitrogen metabolism. So this is essential for plant growth and is mediated by stringent signaling pathways like protein kinase, phosphatases, calcium, and inositol triphosphates. So protein kinase, or you can say phosphatases, calcium, and inositol triphosphate. Now to understand these, you must understand the outer environment, how nitrogen nitrate assimilation is formed. As I said, exogenous factor, endogenous factor are there. But to understand these, outer environment is what? So nitrogen is abundant, as you know that in the atmosphere, but it is unusable to plant or animal unless it converted into a nitrogenous compound. Now already I told you nitrogenous compound, amino acid, protein, alkaloids. Okay. So nitrogen fixing bacteria. Now the role of these. Remember these. That can have a roles, and I will give you what is nitrosomonas, nitrococcus, where it is found. So nitrogen fixing bacteria A has a crucial role in fixing atmospheric nitrogen into a nitrogenous compound, which is usable or absorbed by the plant. Now, which are that? That I will tell you. Okay, later on. Now, to understand this introductory para, the plant absorbs the usable nitrogen compound from the soil through the roots. Then these nitrogen compounds are used for the production of proteins and other compounds in the plant cell. So, animal assimilate nitrogen by consuming these plant. Now, food chain, I am telling you about the food chain. Atmospheric nitrogen is fixing by via roots, and it goes into a plants, and upward movement you will find the protein and amino acid that is eaten by the animal, and it is assimilated nitrogen used by as a form of that contain a nitrogen. Now human consume protein from these plant and animals, and the nitrogen then assimilated in our body system. During the final stage of nitrogen cycle, bacteria and fungi helps decompose organic matter, where the nitrogenous compound get dissolved into a soil, which is again used by the plant. Some bacteria then convert into a nitrogenous compound in the soil and then turn into a nitrogen gas. Eventually, it goes back to the atmosphere. So this is the cycle you will find in layman language. You eat, you remove, and then it is utilized by the plant as a soil or organic matters, and that is also you. After that, the plant produces protein and carbohydrate, protein, and that is utilized by the animals or human beings. Some bacteria. For this process, decomposition or nitrification or denitrification, you require a bacteria that convert nitrogenous compound into a soil into a nitrogenous gas. This set of process repeat continuously Okay, and that maintain a nitrogenous level in the atmosphere. Now, this all process called as nitrogen cycle, and this is not only uh, happening or usable for the bacteria or plant or animal, but it is wholly dependent or for the various processes in the living organism. So nitrogen cycle is a biogeochemical process through which nitrogen is converted into a many forms. Consequently, passing from atmosphere to soil to organism and back into a atmosphere. I am repeating these three times. Remember, this sentence I have repeated three times in different language. Biogeochemical process through which bio means living organism. Geo, geo means this Adipic, okay, geographic, or you can say soil, okay, geo chemical process through which nitrogen is converted into
consequently passing from the atmosphere to the soil to organism and back into the atmosphere.
now this process, as I said, atmosphere to soil to organism, remember, to the soil, to the organism, and back to atmosphere. It involves a several processes. Which are that processes? So you have to remember, first one is nitrogen fixation, another is nitrification, same denitrification, and lastly, after this denitrification, nitrification, plant is formed, plant produces nitrogen, and then it's also the falling down that leaf into a soil, that decay and putrefaction or fermentations, or you can say utilizable form. Then ammonia is formed into form of nitrogen gas and is exist in the both organic and inorganic forms. Now two words comes. Nitrogen gas exists in both form. One is organic form, another is inorganic forms. Organic nitrogen is exist in the living organism and they get passed through the food chain by consumption of other living organisms. Okay, what I am telling, organic nitrogen, where it is exist in the living organism, how they pass through the food chain, one is utilized or consumed to the other living organism, that is called what? Organic nitrogen. Now another form, inorganic nitrogen. Inorganic nitrogen forms are abundantly found in the atmosphere. Hmm? This nitrogen is made available to the plant. This nitrogen is available to plant by symbiotic nitrogen bacteria, which can convert inert nitrogen into usable form. Now two words, two nitrogen forms. Now how the plant is taking nitrogen in organic form or inorganic form? Inorganic forms. Now inorganic forms are which are that two forms? Inorganic forms usable to the plant. Nitrites. Another is nitrates. How can you say that? If you pouring a mm, night soil or gobar or this into a soil, and you will increasing crop production. And another say you put urine and then use this, you will get a no, plant is taking in the form of inorganic form. You require another bio molecules or living organism to synthesize that. Okay. So nitrogen undergoes various type
various
of
type of transformation.
transformation to maintain a balance in ecosystem. What is ecosystem? We people living in that, living in this environment. Outer atmosphere, nitrogen, oxygen, carbon are there. We are eating a plant, certain eating animals too, depending upon that. Then it is utilizable. Wall. This is why God has given a 78% or 72% of nitrogen. Why the higher amount more than 75% of nitrogen? Because whole structural integrity you will find that is because of nitrogen. So furthermore, this process extended to various biomes with the marine nitrogen cycles being one of the most complicated biogeochemical cycles. Now, what are the stages of nitrogen cycles? So you have to remember 2 time n, 2 time n, 2 time a, and 1 time d. In Gujarati, you can say, or in English or pronunciation, nad. This nad is very essential in your body. In past times, they are telling that nadi doctor is there, and they will see whether you are healthy one or you have a deficiency of any disease. Because of same thing is found in the whole biomes or nitrogen cycle. Stages of nitrogen cycle consisting of 5 steps. Many steps are there, but these are the important one. One is nitrogen fixation, nitrification, assimilation, ammonification, and denitrification. You repeat this word. You repeat this word.
Nitrogen fixation, nitrification, assimilation, ammonification, denitrification.
These processes take place in several stages. Okay, that I will explain you one by one. What is nitrogen fixation? How nitrogen fixation happen? What are the enzymes involved in the nitrification, denitrification, assimilation, ammonifications? Which reaction involved which bacteria and which form? So initially, inorganic inorganic nitrogen is absorbed by the plant. Give me a
With the help of symbiotic bacteria.
two
And
forms.
it gives two for nitrite and nitrate.
Very good. That you have to remember. I will I will also explain you in nitrate synthase. Okay, in vivo and in vitro in the practical also, and you have to remember their functions, role, and how the enzyme activity can measure. So, nitrogen fixation process, initial step of nitrogen cycle. First step. Here, atmospheric nitrogen, which is primarily available in the inert form, you know very well. So, it's converted into a usable form, that is ammonia, NH3. Okay. During this process of nitrogen fixation, this inert gas, nitrogen gas, is deposited into soil from the atmosphere and surface water mainly through the precipitation. So our Rajapal is also telling that when this whole precipitation happen or rainfall is happen, most of the nitrogen is soluble and it is utilized by the plant. So you need not to add any fertilizer because of naturally God has created this whole cycle. So no need to addition of any nitrogen fertilizer. Yes, this is possible. But there are certain, as I said, biotic factor, abiotic, endogenous factor, and exogenous factor are responsible for nitrogen fixation. So that not easily. You are not a first person who are coming in this atmosphere or this earth that can produce that much quantity of food material for every citizen of this or every animal supply. Okay, so not understand like this water is falling here, nitrogen is absorbed and it is utilized by plant. So there are numerous factors involved. Natural farming is possible, but not here. Okay, because we have taking a numerous or continuously exploitation of our soil or addition of numerous fertilizer into a soil also. So the entire process of nitrogen fixation is completed by, remember this, not only as I said, you fall water from rainy or precipitation or rainfall and it is utilized by plant. No, it is completed by the symbiotic nitrogenous bacteria. Now this bacteria has given a certain name that is called as diazotrophs. Repeat this word two times. Diazotrophs. Diazotrophs. So azotobacter and rhizobium. Now two bacteria. Azotobacter and rhizobium also have a major role in this process, means nitrogen fixation process. These bacteria consisting of the enzyme complex that is called nitrogenous enzyme and which have a capability to combine a gaseous nitrogen with hydrogen to form ammonia. Okay, which bacteria have enzyme nitrogenase and azotobacter and rhizobium. What is their functions?
Fixing atmospheric nitrogen to the soil.
Yes, gaseous nitrogen with combined with the hydrogen and it forms into a ammonia. Okay, so what is the role of azotobacter? What is the role of rhizobium? That can also be asked in the examination. So you have to write like this. Now nitrogen fixation will still continue. Uh, first step, huh? First step of nitrogen cycle. So nitrogen fixation can occur either by atmospheric fixation, which involves a lightning or industrial fixation by manufacturing ammonia under high temperature and pressure condition. That is also one of the, you can say, human-made procedure to fixing of nitrogen. This can also be fixed through the man-made process. Primarily industrial process that create ammonia and nitrogen rich fertilizer. That you know very well. Okay. So type of nitrogen fixation. If it is asked in the examination, that is not in your course. But to understand nitrogen cycle, you must understand what are the nitrogen fixation. How many types of nitrogen fixation? One is atmospheric fixation, another is biological nitrogen fixation. For our course point of view or importance of our course in the nitrogen cycle, you have to remember BNF, biological nitrogen fixation. Now we will see under only a single para of atmospheric nitrogen fixation, natural phenomena where the energy of lightning breaks the nitrogen into a nitrogen oxide and which are then used by the plants. A bijli nahi hogi. How this is possible? If the electric currents rain, how the rain is formed? You know very well. During the currents is formed in the sea, and they will form a cloud, and cloud is going there. One cloud is attached with the another cloud, and this will causes certain electric energy, and these electric energy of lightning breaks nitrogen into a nitrogen oxide. How many times you are find this round sound of this gurr, gurr? Have you heard that sound? Okay, so this nitrogen oxide, which are then used by the plant, but every times you will not find such things. Okay, So industrial nitrogen fixation is an amendment alternative for this process to use of ammonia. And ammonia is produced by the direct combination of nitrogen and hydrogen. Later, that is converted into a various fertilizers. You know, one of the major urea, NH3CONH3. So we will understand the biological nitrogen fixation. Are you ready to sit or we can take next time?